Hi, Mary Lou.
Good
Hey,
morning.
everybody.
Good morning.
Hi, Mary Lou.
Hi,
Are
Barry. Good to see. Those
Hi,
that I
Barry.
can't
How are
see.
you?
you enjoying retirement?
Yes, yes. I love seeing the full agenda and seeing that other people are going to take care of it. Oh, it makes me happy. I know everything is in such good hands.
So the biggest question is, how's your golf game?
Oh, my golf game. Well, this is the only good thing I can say. I got a birdie on one hole the other day, but it was a par three. But, the putt, I was very impressed. That's the only good thing I can say. Otherwise, it's kind of stinky.
Well, that's good. Good for you. Keep working
Anyway,
on it.
how's yours?
About the same as yours. It's consistent. Let's put it that way.
We could stink together maybe sometime. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. Good, good. Morning, Cena.
Good morning, Barry. How are you? You're
I'm
in
very well.
Florida.
Yes.
Ah,
Hi, Skip.
Hello.
Hi, Skip.
Hi, everybody.
Hi,
How's the
Tina.
weather
How
up
are
in
you?
New
Thank you,
Hampshire?
Lauren.
Huh?
I said, how's the weather up there?
Well, it's been rainy, but it's trying to clear.
Are you cold?
I see some, no, it's actually, it's pretty pleasant. I can see, the top of the mountain is in clouds, but I see patches of sun on the mountain, so it's getting there.
Okay.
Could be good for golf this afternoon.
There you go.
All these people getting to play.
That's what I said.
You gotta make your time.
Yeah.
I haven't even unpacked from vacation.
Yeah. We're not muted. Oh, I texted him Thursday. Yeah, I texted him back.
Mm.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. It's a cast of thousands here in the room. We do not have a single visitor. Not one.
And is Rick there or will he be zooming in?
Yeah. Oh, so that thing's not getting the,
I don't think it's, well, it's kind of, that's the owl.
Oh, okay, he's there.
yeah,
Rick is here until October.
yeah.
Hey, Howie.
Good morning. How are you? How's everybody
morning.
doing? Hello to
Good,
everybody.
And he was on my left.
good. The manual owl here.
So when I speak, is it gonna swing this way or no?
Maybe if we move the
Yeah,
owl.
we gotta move the owl.
Should I move it?
Sure.
Yeah. Does it
If
stretch
you put it
anywhere?
right there in the middle, will it swing when I speak
Yeah,
or Steve
okay.
speaks or Barry speaks?
Do we have Julie there?
I'm here.
And how about, is Rosa joining?
She should be.
Yeah,
I just received a text from her. Let's see.
maybe she's still in transit. Say test
Transit New Jersey.
Yeah.
That she's, okay, so Rosa's not gonna be able to attend.
Okay.
Skip, it sounds as though you're getting a head start on the minutes.
Oh, they're 90% done already.
Are most of you guys down there full time now?
Not Barry.
I think Steve and Ann are the only two that are full-time
Full-time.
residents.
Yeah, no, yeah, this is for me. We're in residence for the summer as opposed to the winter. So
Oh.
we're here through May through probably November 1st.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, or even November 15th.
I hope
But
to be
for us-
down.
I'm sorry.
No, I think we'll be down. I think I'll be down from like the 8th to the 16th of July. I'm not down nearly as much as I'd like to be.
You're retired, Howie. You're supposed to
Yeah.
make it more often.
Well, I have been doing been doing a lot of traveling, which is good. You know, I have got to keep moving.
Okay, it's 10 o'clock, so we are going to start the meeting. So good morning. We'd appreciate if anybody can put their phone, everyone can put their phone on mute. And people online, make sure that you stay on mute. I'm calling the meeting to order, and as you know from prior meetings, this meeting is being recorded. And the protocol to follow is for anyone who speaks during the meeting, you will be deemed to have consented to the recording if you speak during the meeting. This is a reminder that there is a chat feature in Zoom where you can drop comments and questions at any time during the meeting. Julie will be monitoring the chat feature. So if you do have questions, drop them there and then we will be sure to see them and address them. So the first thing we're going to do is establish a quorum of the board. We're going to go around and introduce ourselves. I'm Ann Canna, President.
Barry Skolnick, Vice President.
Rick Riccobono, Treasurer.
Steve Morris, Director.
Skip
Howie
English,
Levine, board member.
Secretary.
Sorry.
So Howie introduced
I'm here.
himself as a director. Skip introduced himself. He's our secretary.
And Sina Mastriani, Director.
And Sina is here. Great. We do have a quorum of the board. In terms of proof of notice of the meeting, it was timely posted and emailed to all owners on Wednesday, June 24th. So we have confirmed the proof of notice. In terms of approval of the minutes of the board meeting held on May 29th, 26th, do I have a motion to waive the reading of the minutes and to approve them?
So
Motion.
Barry approved.
second.
Rick is seconded. Any discussion on those? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 It's unanimous. The minutes are approved. We're going to move on to the regular agenda, but we're going to switch the order a little bit. Tina Morris is our representative to the 201 board, which we also call OTUOA, and they have a meeting later this morning. So we're going to put her at the top of the agenda. So Tina, would you be ready to report on OTUOA? I think you're muted, Tina.
No, she's not.
We are not hearing you. We still don't have any audio and we're not showing you muted on this end. Do you want to try to reconnect from your phone maybe? Okay, so Tina's going to reconnect from her phone. In the meantime, we'll move forward with Rick's report. So Rick will give the treasurer's report.
There's a handout if you want.
Yeah, there's handouts in the room. Julie, can you share that on the screen?
Maybe you want to hand it.
You got one.
You got one?
Do you have 1 minute? Yes.
Okay.
You need one?
All right, Julie, just flip to there we are. Next slide. All right, so this is the standard format that you have seen in the past. It's as of May 31st. But this one is, the next one will be a little bit closer because it deals with the actual cash position. In this one, you see in the actual as of May 31st, all this is year to date, $1,572,500. 530 in total revenue. That's against our budget of, $1,170,000, $1,100,070. And so we have a positive variance 472, and kind of go through that. Well, are we far off budget? No, we're actually tracking budget very well, but you always have these little bit of differences that exist. And one is we're collecting and contributing 67,000 a month towards expenses in the reserves, and the special income is a large factor of actual. We don't have necessarily in the budget what we're going to be making in interest off of the reserves and other balances that they have, but that will be tracking off over time as we finish paying up all our bills with respect to restoration. And then there'll be a lot smaller difference because it'll be focused on the interest. On the expense side, again, administrative, you see that the variances are all positive. Much of that, again, some of that has to do with timing. Again, in 18th, you remember from last time, 18,000 of income tax that we paid off. So we pay income tax on money that is not collected from our owners and used as expenses to operate and rebuild. So basically, it's composed of interest we earn on our reserve, our bank balances, and also we have a contract with Verizon for the antenna on the roof. And so the government taxes that because it doesn't go along with the nonprofit nature of a condo association. That's taxed at 30%. So anyway, that's how we end up with $18,000 of income tax. We do have, for purposes of the variance, we have sort of an offset because we haven't worked on the website development project yet, and we've had less legal fees. And the property insurance, again, we always have a variance there, and that's going to sort of settle out more towards the last payment we make, and then we won't be making payments because it's all sort of lumped into a 9-10 month period instead of over 12 months. But nevertheless, that amounts less overall what we paid insurance because we moved to slide. So I thank the previous board for working on that. Our utilities, you can see that we budgeted 72, we're at 85. And so that's a little bit of a concern being such a large number, but that probably has more to do with seasonal timing of the bills for electricity and propane. Contracts, we're okay to now because the variance is kind of small. We're actually a little bit ahead, but we at the same token, we're only halfway through the year. Same salaries as you've known from the past. That we're always going to be a little ahead there. The actual was 172. Budget was 194, but there was a period of time during the year we were without staff. And then the other piece of this is landscaping. We haven't spent all the money to make some improvements, particularly out front around the portico. Is that right? But we are overall, we have spent a lot more on repairs and maintenance than we had originally in the budget, and that has a lot to do with fire systems and security systems. But overall on the budget, I'll point out, that we're in pretty good shape. I'd say for the first half, as I indicated on the bottom there, first half of 2006, we're nearly behind us. Strong financial performance, and both the operating and the reserve expenditures are tracking very closely to budget. And so with that, I would ask for a question, but first I want to commend the previous budget process because that's what this is really all about. It's trying to anticipate what we're going to have for next year. But that for us is all coming up this fall, and then make sure we're collecting in a way that times those collections with expenditures. And this, is a result having nothing to do with me. Only I adopted this or inherited this from the previous board. On the next slide, this is cash and delinquencies. I think, for an association with this number of units that we have, as owners that we have. We're in pretty good shape with only, we have $3,100 as of 6/23. We had between 30 and 60 days late, $3,100. And then we do have current, it hasn't been paid yet, but it's not, also hasn't hit the 31-day mark, 1,977. So for a total of owner receivables of 5,113, and I'll report that the people that owe us that money have always paid it in the past. It's not like somebody who's having an issue. I think it's their issue more is they're busy and they aren't stopping to make the payment. So anyway, if you look at the total cash, you can see that the operating sits at 148, reserves, and we continue to build those, 1,927,000. And those reserves are both the non-SERS, non-structural reserves that we are accruing for, and then structural, which are mandated. And you can see all of that on the website, on the association's website that you all have access to. You can see the report, the engineering report that lays out what our expenses are going to be for the coming years. And that's how we set up the collection of that. I think lastly, just a reminder of what's coming due July 1st. That's just a few days away. That's the regular 4,700 quarterly assessment. We also have the second part of the special assessment that was passed quite a while ago and collected in May 1st, and now again, second payment in September. And then the regular quarterly assessment October 1st, and the final one January 1st of 27. And I guess I would ask for questions from either board members, folks here, or anybody online. Nothing.
You've answered all the questions.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, so if you do, we will have a question and answer section at the end of the meeting as well. So if you think of a question, just drop it down in the chat and we will get to it. So with that, I think we can stop sharing the screen and move on. Tina, are you
hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, good. All right. Thanks for accommodating me this morning. A few updates on 201 or the OTUOA. As Ann mentioned, we're meeting at 11 o'clock this morning. Several updates here. As you have probably seen in an email announcement, Tom Dembowski, the manager over there, has resigned and is moving on to another opportunity. The board is working with Campbell on a replacement hire in the interim. Denise, who's the office manager, who's also an LCAM, will fill in as an interim manager and keep the projects moving. The board will discuss in our meeting this morning how to approach the position. I think there's a joint desire to hire somebody who brings additional grounds and landscape construction experience to the position because of some of the projects and maintenance focus areas we face. So that's one topic in the meeting this morning. Update on the bocce court. We approved as a board of directors a contract to finish the bocce court that happened at the May meeting. The contractor currently has the project in permitting and is expecting to begin his work by the middle of July. We also have a forthcoming project on the replacement of the cabana roof by the community pool. That project is happening in the week of July 6th. We anticipate that the community pool will be closed during that week. Everything, as you know, is weather dependent. The contractor anticipates it will not take longer than a week, but look for a specific email regarding the community pool closure during that week and plan accordingly. We will also be discussing the tennis courts and pickleball courts renovation and installation this morning. For all of you who are racket sport enthusiasts, you will, I'm sure, be interested in that conversation. There are several bids that are under review for the project, which, as many projects are, a bit more involved than anticipated to accommodate also repairing the fences and all of that. So this morning, the board will discuss the number of pickleball courts and the color scheme for the courts and the fencing, and hope to move forward with some decisions this morning. Tom Child from the 400 building is the lead on these projects. So if you have any specific questions about them, please connect with him. Another project that we are starting is the harmonization or alignment of the building's processes for ESA approvals, emotional support animals. So the OTUOA has convened a team that has representatives from all the buildings. I am the team member for 200. We are meeting for the first time on July 1st. The team also includes all the building managers. So more to come on that. And I will, of course, collaborate with, our board here and on the 200 thinking. An update on the land survey and the estuary work. If you recall, OTUOA has commissioned a land survey with the Wallace engineering firm because we needed to find out exactly where our property boundaries are in the area of the estuary, which is a mangrove natural area that needs to be maintained, and it was unclear who owns which piece of that property. This work, the initial survey was completed, but since this is a complex natural area, the original survey was not conclusive enough. If you're not familiar with it, I wasn't. A lot of this is done electronically by drones and all kinds of electronic aid. But since this is a natural foresty environment, this was not sufficient. So they have to go in there and actually physically stake the property and measure. They're going to do that soon, and that's going to be completed in the first half of July. And the reason we have to do that is that the property owners are responsible for this particular natural area and have to maintain the mangroves, which are considered important in our coastal environment. And we have apparently Australian pines, which are considered invasive and need to be removed. So if we have pines on the property, we have to get rid of them. The town of Jupiter is managing that, but there's also involvement from Palm Beach County because of the adjacent park. So it's the usual interesting situation. It's more to come on that, but so a little bit more survey work. So if you see people traipsing around in the estuary, that's probably the survey people. That's it.
Great. Thank you, Tina. Normally we do questions and answers at the end of the meeting, but given that Tina has to leave in a few minutes, we'll entertain any questions that we have for OTUOA related questions. Okay, seeing none. Thank you for your report, Tina. Appreciate that. And then if there are any further questions, we will address them at the end of the meeting. Okay, moving on. Okay, Melanie, sorry, we have one. Melanie just explained about the ESA committee. Can you talk about that, Tina, what the harmonization effort is going on there?
It's basically an effort to come to a common understanding of between the buildings and a common process about what is allowed and what is not allowed, and how this is managed. As you know, if people have an ESA, most of the time that's a dog. They are using the common property. The dogs are going to the bathroom on OTUOA property. It's not like they're just spending time or only allowed in the respective buildings. And so if the processes of reviewing these applications, allowing them into our community, and if there's disagreement in the approaches between the buildings and the overall association, that's been a bit of a challenge. And I think this is the first time I think that all parties are getting together to look at this, so that there is I would say a unified process and viewpoint on this issue.
Great. And so just to talk about the ESA for a little bit more, do you want to give a summary of the new HUD guidance or?
Yeah, I guess I mean, not pretty good. I can give the general gist.
Exactly.
So what HUD is doing now is taking a closer look and how they have in the past defined an emotional support animal. And they're looking to make it more like the service animal rules, which basically a service animal has to be a service animal, and it has to perform tasks that the disabled person needs it to perform. And they want to kind of can't move that same concept over to emotional support animals. What is the emotional support that the animal is providing, and has it been trained to provide that? And it's interesting because in the world of emotional support animals, it really needs to come, just like most other things, through a prescription from a mental health professional. They should be recommending that you have an emotional support animal to deal with your specific issues, and that dog should be trained to assist. And it's interesting because I'm just learning about all this stuff. There's things like when people say they're treating anxiety, or even better, post-distress disorder. Human beings, we actually produce a smell that the dog can sense. Nobody else, other humans can't, but nevertheless, so the dog, an emotional support animal, senses that person is, getting anxious or excited, depressed, and literally will come to the person because it senses and will stay there until they realize that's dissipated. So this is really interesting. So it's not just simply, you got to train your emotional support animal to just cuddle up with the person. No, it needs to really, just like the service dog, it needs to have specific tasks and training to do all that. So that's what they're putting out now. There's a notice of proposed rulemaking now going on, and this is all driven by too many. Oh, my dog's an emotional support animal, and they get a letter from, someone that says, "Oh yeah, it is." That's not the way it works. It certainly doesn't work that way with service animals, and that's why you see a lot of requests for accommodation are in the emotional support animals.
Thanks.
Okay.
That was a good summary. So I just wanted to alert people that there is this new guidance that actually makes the requirements more stringent as to what can be classified as an emotional support animal, and we are now exploring our own package. Mary Lou and Sina are working on that to explore our own package to make sure that we are bringing it up to date with the current guidance and asking the important questions, because we are a no pet community, and we want to make sure that animals that do come on site are truly legitimate support and service animals and not simply pets that are being portrayed as support animals. So more to that, more on that to come.
So Carla has a.
Oh, go ahead.
Do we have a list of the emotional support dogs in our building?
So the question in the room is, do we have a list of the emotional support animals in our building? And yes, we do. And there are not many. I believe currently there's 2.
Yeah.
I think 2, and we have an application currently underway.
Could we have a notice for people that are coming in on the weekends? If they're having guests, not to bring dogs?
So so the question in the room is, could we have a notice to people who come in the weekend not to bring in dogs? So that is a rule that they need to have prior approval. And we've seen that people try.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so that is a situation, see something, say something. If you see that, make note of the time and the place. We do have cameras in the common areas, and then we can go back and take a look, because we do want to clamp down on people who are coming in outside of the approved support animals.
Since we have so many new renters, or so many people that are coming in on weekends to visit the new renters.
Yes.
Maybe we should make comment to those who rent that this is our rule, that renters to be advised not to bring their pets while they're staying here.
The point being made in the room is that we probably need to issue a refresher on that rule to the renters who may not be as knowledgeable about our rules, even though they sign a copy of our rules as condition of approval of their tenancy. They may not be as aware of this. And so I think the point is well made that a reminder of that rule and education would be a good thing to do. Okay, let me just make sure there's no other questions. Okay, so we're going to move on to the building update. Derek.
Maybe we should mention, we did address, I think it was last week, someone was visiting and I don't know if it was a renter or not, but they were visiting and they had the dog. And
Julie observed it and
Julie
addressed it.
So
We watch it. When we know about it, absolutely we're addressing it, but we can't be all places at all times, especially on the weekend. So again, see something, say something, note the time. You don't have to confront the person. Just note when you saw him. We've got the video. It will be addressed because we're very serious about that. Okay, Barry.
Yeah.
Building update.
Good morning, everyone here and online. Just wanted to give an update on the state of the building, current events of what we're working on. The concrete restoration project has been completed with the exception of a few minor punch list items which are being addressed. So that project has been completed, and thank you for everybody understanding the magnitude of it. But we have a little piece left and it'll be done. It'll be in the rearview mirror. So thank you, team, for that. Moving on to the next item is the roof. Okay, we had an inspection taken place by Koff Roofing, who does the inspections every year on the roof. And as a result of this inspection, they've determined there were various deficiencies on the roof and the lower roofs that need to be addressed and repaired. We're waiting for final proposals from a few different roofing companies to start that project on it. Okay. And along with the roof project is we have a lightning suppression system around the perimeter of the roof to attract lightning before it hits the building and brings it down to the earth and grounds it so it does no damage. Without that, the building can get a strike at any time. That's being evaluated and repaired to protect the building. We're working with some vendors on that also. Okay. Security camera update. We're adding 5 additional cameras to the building as a result of having to get the building upgrade, up to date on security. And the areas that we are going to be putting the cameras are going to be in the hallway by the package room, so we can get a visual of what's coming in and out of the package room. We're also going to be adding one in the gym. So that is another one, and then 3 other ones are gonna be around the pool deck for safety issues on that. And those are all gonna be monitored by the office. So going back to the conversation before, see something, say something, just see something and tell Julie, or write a letter to the board. And we can go back on the cameras and see whatever violation might have taken place. So the contract is through General Security. It's been signed and we're just waiting to ratify it today so we can go forward with it. Next item we had is the cooling tower. We have 2 cooling towers on a roof that cool the building with air conditioning. One failed on June 12th and it needed to be replaced. So proposals were submitted by a couple of companies, and one was selected, and they've repaired the cooling tower fan up on the roof. Not that we lost air conditioning any time, because there's dual systems, but one went down and the other one took over for it. So that's been completed. Okay. Next item I want to just address lightly is the pool spa and the pool lighting situation. As we all know, Mary Lou doesn't like the red lights. A lot of other people don't like the red light, so we've been searching diligently to put in an amber light in it. And we've been working with the pool contractor. Also, we've been working internally and trying to find the lights that would fit in the existing openings right now. And Kurt has been working diligently on it along with Julie. So I think they've come up with a solution to replace them with an amber lights. More details to follow shortly, but they needed to get the same light for the spa as for the pool. So we were able to locate the ones for the pool, but not the spa. So they have to be the same brightness. That would be total compliant. So that's coming along, hopefully be completed shortly. Okay.
One of them is in the pool, is burned out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Next thing we want to discuss is the fire sprinkler inspection that was done. It's been completed. This was entailed checking the sprinkler heads in the common areas and each individual units. There were some units out there that had painted over the sprinklers, whether they painted over the sprinkler head or the escutcheons that are around it. That's a violation. That's against code, and that has to be rectified. So I believe Julie sent out to the affected unit owners what it's going to be cost to replace them. So to bring us back into complete compliance with that. Okay. That's pretty much the update on the building. But I'd just like to add 2 things that I'm going to be harping on at every meeting. One is your dry event cleanouts for everybody. And the second one is the replacement of the FPE electrical panels in your unit. So until the building has been compliant 100%, that's going to be a topic to come up every month on it. So that's basically the state of the building update.
And I think we're caught up, right? The association, our panels.
Our
they're
panels are caught up.
all
Yeah.
in compliance.
So you've heard it here. The quickest way to stop Barry from saying this at every meeting is to get it done.
That's correct.
So get your dryer vents clean and
It's
your
a safety
Yeah.
thing, and it's an electrical thing because your clothes will dry faster, consuming less electricity for the cleaning process. You won't realize it happens gradually, so it's just an extra couple minutes here, a couple minutes here, a couple minutes here to dry it. Once you're getting cleaned out, the timer goes all the way back and does what it's supposed to do on the dryer.
I had to replace my washer
Mhm.
a year ago. And when they took it out, I asked the technician, said, now, do I have to have the my vents all cleaned out. He says, no, I did it. It's all done.
Okay,
All set. So
that's great.
people may have just replaced one of
Mhm.
their, and that,
It's an important question to ask when you get your new appliance installed,
right,
if they can clean out the vent while they're, but it's not just in that little area. They gotta go all the way to the dry vent, which is outside on the catwalks for the most part, except in the end units where it's coming out the side.
So the question, if you didn't, hang on for the question in case you couldn't hear it online, so someone was commenting that when they had their appliances replaced, they requested to have their dryer vent cleaned out at that time. And it's just a good reminder, if you are replacing, have them do it then. And then we have another question.
Do you have a list of those that have been done? The events have been completed?
Yes,
Yes.
we do have a list of the ones that have been completed. Yes.
So there's two questions that we got online. So one is, will the Turtle people be okay with the change on the new lights, or do we have to run it past them? So the answer to that is we do have a turtle approval. That's what we call it. It's by the Florida Wildlife Commission. And they specify that our lights have to have a certain number of nanometers wavelength for the color. The threshold is 570 nanometers or longer. That is the longer wavelength. That is the color of yellow, amber, red. We currently have the red, which has the longest wavelength, so we are in compliance. The yellow, by definition, will be in the 570 or more. So we know what our compliance threshold is, and so we don't need to go back for a new approval because we are only going to replace lights that are within the parameters of that approval.
It was orange, you misspoke.
Did I-
Yellow,
orange.
orange, red.
Oh, okay. I thought
We
amber
have
had
someone who
color.
thoughtfully wore a talking point
Oh.
shirt to the meeting today.
Oh, look, with your spectrum. So I did want to touch on one other thing. So on July 11th, we had an outage here in the building. Our water was down all day because we had a replacement of a leak in the garage, and that leak was unavoidable. As you know, our plumbing expenses are our single largest repair and maintenance expense. Leaks happen. It's not a question of when, it's not a question of if, it's a question of when. So we had a major supply line leak on July 11th that the repair June, thank you. So June, so that the preparation for that repair was well communicated. We told people in advance, you will not have water during the day. What happened though?
Or AC. Water
Or AC.
Because the AC, the water towers on the roof need a constant feed of water. So when you shut the water off, we have to shut down the towers.
So we had an unfortunate incident that when the replacement had to be glued together. There's a plumbing adhesive. So when the water was turned back on, that adhesive did not hold. And so we wound up in a situation where, in addition to not having water and AC during the day, because that adhesive didn't hold, we had another emergency plumbing repair. We needed to give the plumbing more time for that adhesive to cure. And that wound up in a situation of overnight not having AC or water, which was very difficult for the residents here. We have since discussed discussed that issue with Kurt, with Julie, with us, brainstorming what could we do differently. That leak was nobody's fault. The fact that the repair didn't hold at 4 o'clock was nobody's fault. But when something like that happens, what can we do better to communicate alternative plans for everybody? And so I just wanted you to be aware that that situation did not go as best as we thought it could go. And we want to do better. And we're having that discussion to make sure that our communication is better going forward on that as best as we can. The caveat to all of that is plumbing leaks happen and they're no one's fault. And we have to deal with that. That's a function of living in a 50-year-old building. But that whole situation was not something that we hope to repeat. And we will do our best to respond in a different way next time.
Hopefully there's not a next time.
Hopefully there's not a next time. Ever the optimist, Barry. Okay. Moving on. So, yeah. I have another question, but we'll deal with that in the new contracts part. So moving on the agenda to the capital projects update. Steve is in charge of our capital projects, so.
So we currently have three capital projects that are ongoing that I'll discuss and update this morning. There are a couple other projects that I'll mention too, but they're related to capital policies and not necessarily capital projects. So the first one I will touch on is the lobby refreshment or renovation. We have some furniture in there that's very old. It's starting to show signs of wear. It's definitely time for a replacement. And we have a owners committee that is working on identifying options for us. They're currently actively visiting design shops and showrooms and show floors to look at different styles and different types of furniture that can be replaced and put in there to refreshen that lobby. That's ongoing work. They are working on putting together some options that can then be put in front of the ownership for voting and for comment. So there's not really anything tangible to update on that at this particular point. It is moving forward. The second project is the elevator landings, and that has actually been broken up into two parts. The first part is replacement of the windows that are in the elevator landings, and at the same time, replacement of the windows that are not so easy to see from the elevator landing, but are actually inside the storage rooms that are on each landing. So those windows that are in there are original to the building. They're very old. They're in very bad repair, and we're working on replacing them. We've been actively talking to different engineering companies and also vendors that can provide replacement windows and install them. To date, we have spoken to 3 different vendors that have come in. We have 2 more that are yet to be scheduled, but they will be coming in the next week or 2, and they will be talking to the management staff and the board of directors about their recommendations and their options. All of that is in preparation for them to give us a proposal that we can then evaluate. So that is moving ahead. I will warn you, though, that there's a good side and a bad side to this story. The good side is that the material that the windows are made out of, the frames are aluminum. And while the Strait of Hormuz was closed, the price of aluminum skyrocketed, and its availability was severely restricted. With the reopening of the strait, is it open today or not? No, well, whatever.
Didn't check.
Anyway, yeah.
Isn't there an app for that?
With the reopening of the strait, the prices have already started to come down, and the lead times for manufacture of the frames is already starting to decrease. But traditionally, as we get later into the season, those lead times become longer as more and more people take advantage of the summer break to conduct this kind of work. So we're looking at probably wrapping up the window research in the next week or 2. We anticipate that we will have a contract for consideration, a proposed contract for consideration at the next board meeting. And at that time, we will put down the deposit necessary to order the windows. That may take as long as 3 months to get the windows. And that's just the reality of working with a commodity like aluminum. So we're making good progress on the windows. We've spoken to 3 vendors already. We've got 2 more that we will talk to, and we'll have, I think, a proposed contract for consideration a month from now. At least that's our plan.
Steve, you might want to add that some of the holdup is going to be with the town of Jupiter to get the permits.
Good point. Thank you very much, Barry. Yes. In addition to, in parallel to this, we have to go through the permitting process from the town of Jupiter. And that requires detailed drawings, engineering evaluations, the license application, licensing fee. And that, unfortunately, is also going to take quite a while. That could be up to 2 to 3 months as well. But that is something that we think we will be able to do in parallel. We don't believe that is on the critical path to getting the window work started and importantly finished. The second part of the landing project is actually remodeling the landings themselves. And we've decided to put that off until the windows are completed and the installation is done, so that we don't have to worry about damage to any of the renovation and remodeling work that's been done. So that work right now it's still proceeding at a low level of intensity, but it is proceeding and it's kind of on hold. The same owners committee that is working on the lobby is also working on the landings. They have some ideas and they will again be putting together two different plans for the owners to consider. And they will be making a presentation to answer any questions that might come up about those particular plans. So that part of it is, frankly, it's unlikely we'll be able to do that this season. The windows were a little bit of a surprise with regard to how long it was going to take to get the assessment completed, talk to the vendors, get the proposals, and then get the actual windows in. So the landing renovation, unfortunately, is likely going to be put off until next construction season. But that will give us plenty of time to get together plans, engage the owners, answer any questions, and make a selection that everybody's, happy with. Well, maybe not happy, but willing to live with.
The actual work itself is really only about 2.5, 3 weeks at the most.
Yes,
Actually
that's right.
installing all of this.
Yeah. So all the vendors that we've spoken to are pretty much uniform in their projections that once we have the license and once we have the windows, it's going to take at most 3 weeks to get that entire project completed. So then it's just a question of how much work is going to be done with the remodeling of those landings.
And it won't go into season.
No, we don't want to do that. One other thing that I'll mention too.
It's a relatively fast project. It's
For the
not
whole renovation of
just for taking the
No,
old
I
ones out
mean
and putting new ones in.
the renovation of the lobby, elevator lobby.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
don't want to have,
During season.
we don't want to have a lot of owners coming back and dealing, well, everybody's been through a painful experience with the pool deck and the building renovations. We don't want to do that again when it's not absolutely essential. So we don't want people inconvenienced by having lobbies that are partially walled off by a dust wall or having crews coming up and down with windows and everything. So no, that work will not take place during the quiet season. The third project that I'll mention is related to the garage doors and their openers. As I think everybody knows, those systems are very old. I believe the gates are actually original to the building, and the motors and control units are probably not far behind when it comes to age. And they're just not working that well anymore. Almost every week we have at least one and frequently two gates that don't work. And so we just have to manually open them up and leave them open all day long. It's a little bit of a security risk. We try not to do that at night, but still they should be functional. And that's what we're working on doing. We have collected proposals from vendors to replace the control units. And unfortunately, in the process of working through that, we have discovered that there is hardware associated with the gates that also needs to be replaced. Specifically, the gates ride in rails on the sides with wheels. And the rails and the wheels are going to need to be replaced. We've conducted a relatively extensive investigation into that, and the parts are still available from the vendor, but unfortunately the designs have changed over the past 20 years. And so the products that are currently available are not compatible with the equipment that we currently have. So we are requesting updated proposals from the people that bid on the control units to include replacing the rails that are on the side of the gates and the wheels that the gates actually ride the rails on. So that's ongoing work. We don't anticipate that it'll take very long to get the work done once we have received the updated proposals and considered the proposals that we do have and decide on the contract. So that's my update. we'll wait till the end of the meeting
For
and,
questions.
and
yeah.
I'll try to deal with any questions that may come up.
I do just want to clarify one thing. So these projects sound expensive. They are all reserved for. These are reserve items. So the elevator landing windows, that is a reserve item, and we have those funds. We do not anticipate any special assessments for these projects because we have been reserving so heavily. So I just wanted to,
But I would think the price ultimately what we have to pay for windows and doors is gonna affect how much work we do in the lobbies.
yes,
Let's throw that out. So,
yes,
so that's kind of like why you have to get the windows and doors done first. What did that cost us? This is what we have left. And then we say to the ladies, the decorating ladies, okay, this is what you have to spend.
right,
Right.
right.
Okay.
We're doing the structural envelope piece of this first, and then seeing what we have left for decorating. Okay, I did you? Oh, no, okay. So I did just want to circle back on one thing. When we were doing the treasurer's report, we do have the audit, the 2025 audit on the agenda, and we didn't get to address that. So do you just want to
Yeah.
touch on that quickly?
Sure. Then it was only the Tina thing, get her off.
Yeah,
So, I guess I will tell you our 25 audit is due in a few days, June 30th. And that's what the law requires, that we have that audit completed. And it is all but done, with the exception of them dotting some i's, crossing t's, and then handing that to us, to the association, to the boards to review before they finalize it. So we are still on track to the 30th, but it might be some burning some midnight oil for us to review that. And but well, I anticipate next meeting, we'll put it out there on the website for everybody to read, but then I would like to just cover it in a summary sort of sense for people about what it says, and talk a little bit about a lot of getting this year's, the 2025 started, was making sure our books were in conformance with what the audit of the year before, the 24 audit said. So that was done early on, and we've supplied the information. But the way the process works, it's an iterative process. We give them all the stuff, they figure out what's missing, they ask for it, we give it to them. They go a little further, ask for more stuff, we give it to them. And so we're at the stage, they're done asking for stuff, supplying stuff, but we do need to review it before they finalize it.
thank you. Okay, so moving on to the legal update. Sina, would you give us the update for the legal documents?
Okay, just a few updates on the governing document updates. We're continuing to review to make proposed amendments or changes to our governing documents. Some of it, there's 3 items that we're focusing. Some are just simple language edits, cleaning up language, typos, or removing any inconsequential language. The other item we're addressing are certain provisions. We've noticed there's conflicting language, and we want to clarify it. For example, there's an issue of repairing pipes and leaks in the building and whose responsibility it is. There's conflicting parts of it, so we want to make it clear so everyone knows what their obligation is and who's responsible. The other issue that we're focusing on is considering new provisions. We want to update the provisions regarding guests and rentals. And as now we talked about the ESA modifications, we want to make sure that our documents comply with new laws. The new draft, once we complete it, will be circulated to the board and to the owners so that we get a full vote on that. Okay, so that'll be following up. The other thing I want to report is on the compliance committee, and that we've kind of touched upon it with some of the owners' concerns. The purpose to have a compliance committee is to establish uniform procedures for the enforcement of the association's governing documents and rules. Currently, our bylaws and governing documents allow us to establish a compliance committee. The Declaration of Condominiums says that we're entitled to remedies provided in the Condominium Act to any owner, tenant, guest, invitee who fails to comply with our governing documents. Also, our bylaws authorize the association to impose fines or suspend privileges in accordance with the Condominium Act. So the Compliance Committee is governed by the Florida statute, section 718. And the purpose is to have a policy, so we have uniform procedures. Under the Condominium Association, the board cannot assess or levy a fine unless an independent committee approves it. So we want to have a compliance committee, and that will be comprised of 3 owners, okay? And there's a whole protocol for that. And their duty and obligation is, after the board has made a recommendations for a fine or some sort of a punishment, then the committee would review it, and they would either approve what the board has suggested or deny it. But without having the committee, we can't go forward. I know there was some concern about people that are bringing pets against the rules. Right now, there's nothing we can do. But if we have a compliance committee in effect, one, we can give a warning, because our objective is not to just come in and police and have all these rules, but it's try to get everyone to comply with the rules. So if you get a notice that, look, you can't have your guests or you can't have a pet, the first time you get a notice. But if it continues, then we could go to the next step, as to imposing a fine. So we'll discuss that more, and we'll see if we'll have a vote about establishing the committee, and that's the first step that we have to do. Any other questions about it?
So we'll hold questions till the end, but thank you, Sina, for the report. So there's a lot of work ongoing, and Sina's working together with Mary Lou, because Mary Lou is never going to escape the board's workload. So they have devoted an incredible amount of time to reviewing these documents. And the other thing, we are incredibly fortunate to have Sina, who's an attorney and magistrate in the state of New York. Mary Lou's legal background you're aware of. Rick also has a legal background as an attorney. So we are lucky to have a number of sharp legal minds looking at these documents. With that, we will review it, but then it will go to our attorney as well. But the work that they are doing saves the association a tremendous amount of time and money because of the expertise that they bring to this. So I am sincerely appreciative of that skill set that they've brought to this exercise. Okay, with that, concludes old business. We're moving on to new business. The first item of new business is to vote to ratify a capitalization policy. Rick, would you like to explain our exciting capitalization policy?
It's so difficult for me to draft it, by the way.
Yeah.
The accountant gave it to us. So this has been a constant issue in previous audits. They're saying, hey, you don't have a policy on whether or not or how you capitalize items. For example, in the normal course, we purchase all of this furniture outside on the pool deck. And first you have the right to either look at each individual piece of furniture or just lump it all into pool furniture. But the idea being, do you write that all off at the time you purchase it, or do you only you depreciate it over a number of years and write only off a portion? So let's say the life of that furniture is 15 years, you would take the cost and write it over 15 years. So we really haven't been doing that, because we buy the furniture and we pay for it. And it's a good thing. I mean, an association's books, even though we're required to keep them, on an accrual basis, I mean, reality is the way we operate is on a cash basis. We count the cash when we take it in. When we buy the furniture, we take it out, we expense it. So it just makes it just harder. And we haven't had it, the reason, because so much is not to be capitalized, like the roof. We're going to do on the roof, even though because it's part of the building. In fact, anything we do in the building isn't to be capitalized. So to resolve this issue that we don't have one, we now have, I'm proposing we adopt this, and it's basically we will treat in every asset that we purchase that's to be capitalized. And that's so anything to do with the real estate, attached to real estate, that's not capitalized. But these other pieces of property, I guess you could call them personal property, are to be, but we'll only do it when that single item is $10,000 or more, and then we will capitalize or depreciate it over its useful life. And that was the policy that I provided. That's basically what it says. And even though I redid it and gave it to the accountant and said, well, what do you think of this? Because I liked my version, pride of authorship. He said, why don't you just use this? So, okay, that what you see is our accountant's recommended capitalization policy. And it's pretty straightforward, easy to read and understanding.
So as you can tell, in addition to having a legal background, Rick is also a CPA and used to speaking to CPAs. So long story short, this is something that our accountants want us to have on the books. We don't see that we will immediately need to implement it. We don't have anything that qualifies, but it is an important part of financial hygiene in terms of the policies. So
just funny thing. So we say to them like, well, okay, yes, again, we'll resolve this by adopting a policy, but can you give us an example, like when condo associations use this? He said, well, like, okay, your golf cart, you need to depreciate that. Okay, well, we don't have one of those. And so, and we went through the process of everything he could think of that we should capitalize. We don't own them.
And now we do.
we're about to vote on it.
We're about to vote. We're
We're
gonna
about
have
to
No,
vote
no,
on
we're voting on a policy,
We're not buying
not a
a
golf cart.
Oh, yeah.
We're just adopting a policy that says any single item that we pay $10,000 or more for, we will expense that cost over the useful life of the asset.
Can we claim that against the taxes that we have to pay?
Yeah, so sadly, no.
There's very little advantages to doing this, but we are required to do it. So Mary Lou brings up a good point. Thank you also to Sean Tafaro. So Sean is a CPA who lives in our building, who has discussed this with Mary Lou and me in the past. And so his wisdom on this was also part of how we moved forward. And finally, thanks to Rick, we are finally getting this done. So do I have a motion to ratify the capitalization policy as proposed as part of this board meeting agenda?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, good.
Thank you, Sina. We have a motion.
I'll second.
Thank you, Steve. We have a second. All in favor, or sorry, is there any discussion on this?
No,
You really don't want to discuss it? No.
Rick's done a great job explaining it.
Okay.
The only thing I took out is we're not buying a golf cart.
Let's be clear in the minutes, no
Yeah.
golf cart. Okay, since there's no discussion, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Nay, it passes unanimously. Okay, moving on to ratify, we have 3 proposals to ratify. So as many of you who've been attending these board meetings know, the way this works is that proposals are signed as they are needed in the day-to-day course of business. We don't wait until a board meeting to put it in front of the entire board and vote on it, because otherwise we would never get anything done. It would take 30 days to sign everything. So we are delegated to being able to sign proposals to move forward the normal operations of the business. And so one of those proposals, the first one is Cerrito Electric. That proposal was attached to your agenda. And it's a pool room rewiring for $2,585. Barry, do you want to give the Cliff Notes version of what that is for?
Sure. So there is a controller that controls the chemicals within the pool and the spa, and it's as needed. It monitors the levels of chemicals in the pool, and that was not originally connected the correct way. So we've had to go back to our electrician, and he had to run some additional cabling between point A and point B. So to get the controller to do what it was intended to do, which was to put chlorine when you need it, shut it off when you don't need it, and let the salt do the majority of the chlorination that's natural on it. So that $2,585 was for the wiring and connectivity.
So I have to thank Barry for his work on this. This was a proposal that we sat on for a long time because we really wanted to explore, was there any other way to get this done? And Barry, through his expertise with electrical wiring and now with the pool, has really helped us work through that and to understand this step had to be done regardless of what our next steps are. So again, we have the benefit of Barry's expertise in all things building and especially with electrical components, and that's tremendously valuable to us.
And all of it, I should say that, particularly with respect to the spa, these things are to create sort of an automation that will maintain chlorine and pH in the spa. And so what's been really critical is, as you know, we had a lot of problems, and now we're hopeful this will be a solution that they could continue to operate without any need to have Kurt adding chlorine or pH in between, and to satisfy the county when they come out, and they frequently do, to check on the water.
Thank you for that clarification. Do I have a motion to ratify the proposal from Cerrito Electric for $2,585?
Motion.
Barry so moved. Rick has seconded. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
None opposed. The motion passes unanimously.
Aye.
Thank you. Moving on to our next proposal, general security. So Barry already explained what this proposal is for. It's for the 5 additional security cameras. So 3 of them are going out onto the pool deck. 2 of them, one of them will go in the gym, and another one will go into the package room, just at the hallway outside the package room. Again, this was another one where Barry and Julie both negotiated heavily with General Security, and both of them were successful in bringing down the price subsequently in a material way. So the price that we have received on this is truly the best price after much negotiation. And I guess that's another thing that I want to make people aware of, that when we get proposals, we do work them. We rarely accept a proposal the way that it comes in, and we really do our best to work with the vendor to get the best pricing. So the price that you see here is considerably less than what it was originally. With that in mind, do I have a motion to ratify the general security proposal for $7,142.88?
Motion.
Barry has moved.
Second.
Rick has seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes unanimously. And our third and final is the proposal from Altman Air Conditioning. Barry explained that we have the cooling tower fan motor, which needed to be replaced. There is a correction from the agenda, and that error is mine. I had originally put on there $3,595. The correct amount was $3,975. So I want to make sure that we get that right in the minutes. You did see the proposal as it was attached to the agenda. Do we have a motion to ratify the Altman Air Conditioning proposal?
So moved.
Rick has moved.
I'll
Barry
second.
has seconded. Any discussion?
No. No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes unanimously. Our final item on new business is the vote to establish a compliance review committee. And Sina has described the rationale for this. This is really simply a logical extension of the rules and regulations that we passed in March of 26. As you may remember, we updated our rules and regulations. And as Sina has described, it is simply the tool that the Florida statute provides to condo associations so that we can find repeat offenders who have not been that we have not been able to address their rule violations in any other way. We always rely first on education, second on warnings, sometimes repeated warnings. But that being said, we do have a small set of violators of our rules that we seem to have difficulty getting to any other way. And so this compliance review committee will allow the board to establish fines, and then the compliance review committee, which will be an independent committee of the board, will
No, not of the board. Committee from the board.
from the board. It's a good distinction. So but independent committee that is not populated by board members. It will be populated by people who are not on the board. But we need to start to establish the protocols that will go with that compliance committee. Sina has kindly agreed to start that process for us. And so you will be hearing the next steps in this proposal. This is simply the first step to just establish this committee so we can move forward. Do we have a motion, Sina, that you would like to make?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that the board approve the establishment of a compliance review committee and to establish policy and procedure to be followed.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Rick seconds the motion. Do we have any discussion on the matter?
No.
Just maybe I talk too much. Just to make sure, I'm repeating again what Sina had given us. The purpose of the committee, which will be comprised of non-board members, not their spouses, board members and their spouses are not eligible. The purpose is to review what the board is doing with respect to, fines and violations, suspensions, maybe even more effective than a fine. So anyway, this committee is going to be reviewing what the board is doing. And I just like to express like I said, for the most time, we spend most of what everybody says is season for them, snowbirds, we're hot birds. We get out of the desert and come here in the summer. And I'm just amazed at what goes on. This is not even crowded, although I have to say that they seem to rise when we have holidays and more of a crowd, but it's just amazing to me, like the people that just disregard the rule, and then you ask them to comply, and typically they do, and then we have this small group of people that just keep violating the rules. And so, I don't think you should have a set of rules if you don't have consequences for them that will change people's behavior. And so,
Rick, maybe you can bring them into the principal's office.
Yes.
And talk to them on an individual basis.
So we've gotten 2 messages from owners supportive of the committee and your comments specifically. So thank you for those supportive comments. We have a motion and a second on the floor. We have had some discussion. Assuming that there is no further discussion, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion passes unanimously. So that concludes our new business. So we open it up to any further questions and comments by owners. Mary Lou Parker.
Okay, so I took the mute off. So sorry, I just want to say this for a second.
Softball questions.
And I know that those of you who are there have already welcomed Christopher Walsh, but I note that new owner Chris and Celeste Walsh have closed on their unit. For many people, they will know who are on this meeting that they have rented in our building for several years, but it is so nice both to see Chris on this meeting, and so it's very uplifting when you see new owners that really participate in this whole process right away. So welcome, Chris, and thanks for attending this meeting.
Absolutely. Welcome, Chris, and congratulations to you and Celeste on your purchase. They will be in unit 1008. You're getting welcome from others on the Zoom as well, Chris. So please convey our welcome to Celeste as well.
That was
Okay. So let me just see.
Question in.
Oh, sorry. Tom Spurley, 107.
I have a couple questions going back. I should have written them down, but from what I can remember. We were talking about the starting of the windows in the elevator,
Landing.
shaft, right?
The landing.
So we're moving ahead as quickly as possible for the windows. We're gonna wait for the flooring that might happen after season is over, correct?
Do you want to answer that, Steve?
Yes. So if we divide the year into a construction season during the summer, May to November, and then a quiet season during the winter while most of the owners and occupants are here, okay?
Right.
We're only going to do work during that summer construction season. Is that your question?
Yeah, and that you said we probably won't get to the flooring and.
Right, so,
Until next quiet
right,
season.
until the next,
Or
well,
not
no, the
next
quiet,
season, next.
exactly.
Next,
So the next construction season that starts in May of 27, that's probably when we'll be able to initiate the renovations. That
Okay.
will involve, that's going to be extremely disruptive. And there's a very strong potential that that will close an entire landing for a number of days while some work is being carried out. So we don't want to do that during the season while there is a, high demand for access to the elevators.
that answers it, thank you. Then I've got a couple questions, because now that I'm down here for just a little bit of time, I want to try to get my dryer vent done. You all had made some recommendations of who does that efficiently and effectively, and that can come in and do the work. The electrical panel, I don't think I have one of the defective ones, but I found my inspection from when I bought a few years ago. And I don't know where it was, but it was like, he said, when the panel was open, there was some fried wires in the bottom of it, which isn't a good sign.
No,
And I'm not sure, I mean, it just kind of, there was so much just other stuff going on. So you all might have a recommendation about who I could have look at that. Maybe the people, maybe it would be a good time if the new panel people came out and they look at it and say, listen, what, need to replace it. And then it's in compliance with, I don't think mine's one of the defective ones, but I don't know for sure.
Do you want to repeat the question for people online and then answer?
sure. So the question on the floor is, recommending, contractors to clean the dryer vents out and also the electrical panel inspections. Julie can, be more than happy to provide you with the name of the companies that have done work in the building on these projects.
Okay.
So you can get that done while you're here, probably.
Okay, and I have one more thing, and I don't know if this is something that you all know from experience, but when we had the tower, when it went down, and by the way, I thought the communication was excellent, because I'm remote. So I have a remote thermostat, thank goodness, and I can turn it on and off, although I keep the fan running, it doesn't hurt the cooling part of it. But if someone doesn't have that and they're not notified and they try to keep their air conditioning, it can do damage, I think. On some, it says it can, but when they turned everything back on, and this happened a couple times in my unit, and I don't know who's responsible for the water pressure. I mean, I'm at the bottom, so mine's supposed to be super good in the lower areas. I come back and I got no water. So when my condo person, Mary Ann, she turns it on, it's just spitting, and it's like, okay, and it didn't happen at first, so, and sometimes I'm not here for 2 or 3 months. So she turned it on, and after about maybe 25 minutes, 30 minutes, I finally got pressure back. Well, when I went down again, there was no water. And so I'm sure.
So
Just repeat the question for the.
okay, so the question is about, well, let me ask my clarifying question, then I'll touch that. So when you say you have no water pressure, do you mean that you're getting a lot of air spitting out with, more air
depends
than
on
water?
where
Or
it
do you
is.
mean the water's just?
Sometimes when she did it once and it was, she showed it was just a drip coming out no matter what. And I said, well, leave it open. There's maybe airlock or something. I read about it. Finally, it came to, but the water pressure just overall in like where the kitchen and the master bathroom, it's really low. I mean, I barely get stuff coming out of my shower head. And I don't know if there's some kind of, but it was better. It was never like that. So I don't know, is there somebody that I need to call is there's a pressure backup or something? Never really, because I have no water pressure much in the bathroom.
Julie, have you had other reports?
In the beginning, when they restart the water, we've had some reports and we just suggest that all areas are open, all your faucets are open. That helps the flow and the pressure
Right.
get restored. But if you're still experiencing that, then you might have a bigger issue.
Right.
I can ask Kurt to take a look and then we can go further from there.
Okay. Is that now something that ultimately I would be responsible
Yeah.
for if plumber's gotta come in, maybe take off the fix, and there's
Yes.
some kind of way they have to, I don't know, they flush out the lines or blow them out. But I don't know if I have to, I wanna coincide it with, I don't know what, like when I put my water heater in, you gotta shut the whole.
Stack up.
Yeah, and
that's
that, I
something
hate
different.
to have to do that to everyone, but I like some water pressure in the master bath shower.
So since it sounds like this may be an individual unit issue, are you having that?
I'm right under,
Okay,
so, and mine's been fine. I haven't had
Okay.
any problems at all,
Yeah, that's-
so I don't know what that means, if that's.
That valve, the main shut-off valve, could be defective or running out of its
Yeah.
usefulness, and it doesn't open, there's a ball
You
under
mean
the
the one that's hooked to the water heater?
Yeah.
Brand, I mean.
No, the one coming into your unit, not for the water heater, for the regular.
Your main shut-off.
Main shut-off,
That's had to all be redone,
okay.
completely brand new when I moved in. It was only like 6 weeks and
Okay.
it was so corroded, he just put a whole new.
so what I'd like to do, because it sounds like this may be an isolated incident, when in the board meetings, we talk about things that infect everybody, and that was helpful for you to bring it up because we can ask. But let's spend time after the meeting and let's see what we can do to help diagnose who you need to call next.
Yeah, and that's because you all have more experience with the different people, and I know the Admiral, I think it was Admiral came out, but yeah, we can talk after.
Sure.
Afterward.
Do you have anything you wanted to add?
I have a couple of questions, it's not related to the water pressures.
Okay.
Is that, first thing is for Barry. The beginning of the week, Monday or Tuesday, they did something to my steps. It was evidently a problem with it and they cemented or
Mhm.
they put stuff down on it and they taped it off.
Right.
How long is that gonna be taped off?
I think the tape can come off at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Okay, today,
We'll have it
okay.
removed today.
Thank you. Another question I had is, the trees on the terrace level, I think I'm the only one living here in the summer, are getting really, really high. And actually, the height of the part that's over my guest bedroom is taller than the window. As you look out, so it's not coming up the window, but as I look out, you have to go like that, because the end is taller.
You're talking about the shrubs between the T-level
The
units.
shrubs, these tall,
Mhm.
tall shrubs. Originally, the original plan, they were maybe, I don't know, that high. And then when they replaced them, they let them get really high. And I had said, well, no, they were really low. And I said, we need them to provide some privacy. But now it's getting so that you feel like you're in a hole. Can those be trimmed back?
Yes.
Yeah.
Another question that I had, which is a weird one, yesterday, the first time, I looked out my window on my slider in the living room, and there was what I thought was a cat there with the head down and the little ears waiting to come in my door. And I thought, well, I'm not gonna let
Bunnies.
the cat in. And then
These rabbits.
it was what?
The rabbits.
Oh, no, this was not a rabbit. No, no.
Okay.
And then he moved around and he stayed there for a long, long time. And I kind of ignored him and he looked sick, his fur. I think it's a raccoon. Had a
Mm.
long, long tail
Huh.
and little ears and a long nose.
That's
And-
awesome.
Awesome.
Sounds like a
Yeah.
fun-
Yeah.
Awesome.
Maybe it's a possum. That's
Mhm.
possible.
Mhm.
I was concerned because I thought it was a sick raccoon
Mhm.
and could it have rabies? So I didn't want to go out, but it wasn't afraid of anything. And then it crawled up on my padded furniture and curled up in a little ball and
Ugh.
went to sleep. And then it got off from there and its breath was like really heavy. It just looked sick. And I thought, what do I do? And it's the first time it's ever happened. And I thought, well, I don't want any of our staff to come out and take care of this rabid animal. And I don't want to take care of it. And So what, well, is there an animal control
Report it
person?
to the office and we'll get our.
Okay,
pest
he
control.
eventually just walked away and
Okay.
gone.
Yeah, we have wildlife,
So we
unfortunately,
think
that
it's a
comes to the
possum?
pool. I
Well,
see-
take a picture. Next time, take a picture.
That's a good idea.
Was there hair on the tail?
Yes,
Okay,
Like
possum's
fluffy
tail-
hair or just hair, like,
and hair, like, the tail was like that long.
Not a
Long,
possum.
dark, and little ears. It wasn't a rabbit.
sounds
Did
like a possum. Possums don't have a
Yeah,
lot of
but-
hair in the tail.
No,
No.
the tail on a possum would appear to be just like skin,
Okay.
okay? But a long nosed tiny,
It wasn't tiny. It's the size of a cat.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, good
Um,
thing you didn't approach it. Don't approach raccoons or possums, because both of them can be.
Yeah, I just didn't want anyone getting sick. And if it was rabbit, would the fact that he curled up in my chair, do I have to wash all that?
No.
no, no, you don't.
No.
You're just playing possum.
You know what, now that I think it was my ESA cat,
Is that what it is?
yeah.
You're the one. We've got a compliance review committee coming for you.
So was the body hairy?
Yes.
Sounds like
Okay,
a raccoon.
yeah, but the long nose is a little confusing to me. So
Okay.
long,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, let's,
Yeah.
all right. We will
That's all.
figure out what to do with the possum. Okay. Are there any other questions online? I don't see anyone. Nope, I think we're done. Do we have, I just wanted to put up, Julie, I'm kind of blindsiding you here. Do you have the schedule of the next meetings in your desktop?
I
No?
don't.
Okay, sorry, I blindsided you. So our next meeting is Friday, July 24th at 10 a.m. That will be our last meeting of the summer. We will not meet in August. That was always the plan, and we will resume meeting in September. So put July 24th on your calendars. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Okay.
Barry moves.
A second.
Sina seconds. We are, any discussion?
No,
We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
thank you.
I applaud you. I think this has been the best board meeting that I've been to in 25 years or more.
That's very kind.
Had such a nice presentation, and we could listen to your own assignments. And I really got a lot out of it, and I'm going to tell my friends who missed the meeting. I got it right down.
And the building looks great.
Thank you very much.
A pleasure, a pleasure.
Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
We really appreciate that.
Wow.
No,